Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here with my second review of the Star Wars Black Series Luke Skywalker helmet. The reason that this is a second review is because the first review that I did, which you guys can still check out, I had dead batteries in it basically, or dying batteries I should say, so I thought the thing was broken. It just had like a couple of sound effects and then it would shut off and I was like, this thing is broken. Turns out I just had dead batteries, didn't know that, had to go through the whole process of returning it. I literally just wasted time and money. That was like over a month ago. So we're gonna do a very succinct review of this bad boy. I like it. First off, obviously, as you can see, we got Poe Dameron here, so you can guys check out that review as well if you want to. I'll make that the end title card. But I like that one. It's super loud. I do remember that because it's been a minute since I've actually worn it, but it's super loud. This one, not as loud, but as far as the design goes, amazing. Like this thing, like shelf presence wise, there is just no comparison. It's like this looks cool. I like this. It's cool. I like the black, red, and gray. It's nice. It's simple. But this is just it's white. It's red. It's yellow. It's got the black and gray in there. I like the sort of weathering effect that you can see on it. It's good. It's great actually. I love this. This is amazing. Like both of these are good, but this is actually amazing. Unfortunately, with the amazing stature of this thing comes the very giant head thing. Like they both look comparable. Like I'm kind of looking at my monitor here. You can still tell that this one's bigger. Like, yeah, that's like this is like the little brother. This thing could like eat this thing. Like that's how it feels. So this thing is huge, and unfortunately, it's so big that it's the worst shape ever for my head size. So I always thought like I got a big head. It's decent, as far as this one's concerned. I leave the little top cushion in there so it doesn't hurt my head. Everything's fine. Like as long as I don't move like crazy, it doesn't really wobble around. It's good. So these two cushions, you can see this one right here. These don't actually come with it. These cushions actually go to Poe Dameron. These are the cushions that come with Luke Skywalker. These are too big. So my head is too big if I take these out. Or my head is too small, I should say. The helmet's too big. So regular head, I leave the cushion up top just so it doesn't hurt. It's too big. It literally just instantly, it just leans back. The helmet is huge, it's heavy, and that's just how it is. Also, this thing is very cool. It's just a mic, Red 5 stand, all that good stuff. You can also have this inside if you don't want it showing, and everything's good. And it also bends up, so it won't be like touching your ear if you don't want it to. All that good stuff. But this is what you're dealing with. It's like okay, it's big and it doesn't really fit my head, so okay, I'll just go ahead and put the cushions in. These cushions are too big. I literally cannot do it. I've tried it before. I'm just not gonna bother again. You can watch our old review to see me attempt to do that and like crush my freaking skull, but it's just too big. So they're much smaller, and they're okay. I literally only tested them once, and I did it like just before actually starting the review, just so I would know. That also happened the first time I did it. I thought it was on the thing, and it was not. And I'm doing obviously this is just kind of random placement because it's not, these aren't really meant to be in there, and so still a bit tight. Yeah, okay, maybe I have to do like a very specific position because it was easier the last time I did it. Still a little tight. Yeah, I can hold up. Here we go. This is so uncomfortable, and that's sort of there. It feels, it's like a little high, like I'm almost like at the ridge, so my vision is a little bit off, but it kind of works. I also can barely hear like it's so pushed in on my ears, but this might be how I have to do it if I decide I even want to wear this thing. Like it's so big, and I might just throw it on every once in a while just to get the cool sound effects and everything, which had I turned this on before I did it, it would have been better, but I gotta take it off now. It's gonna hurt my head. So unless I left it on, dang, I didn't. Let's see if I can just hit it. Oh, thank goodness. So this is we got two sound effects for this. For those of you that don't know, I should do like a better review, but obviously I'm just shooting through this. So there's lights and sound effects. This one just has sound effects. You can also talk to BB-8 with that one, the little microphone here. All this stuff, once again, it's in my review, but you can talk to BB-8 with the microphone. This one we have R2, but you can't really talk to him. The microphone doesn't actually connect to the helmet or anything. It's just there because it's a part of the design of the helmet. As you can see, this thing is still not 100%, even with the extra padding. I have to like buy some very specific padding so it feels comfortable and everything and isn't like crushing into my ears. Also, there's a ridiculous amount of space. That's actually why I was able to turn it on. There we go. It's a little better. It's still just up too high, but that's the only way I can even get this thing to stay on. Or I use the the little chin strap here. I'm not even gonna bother with that. I hate how it looks. I hate how it feels. Also, if you take the helmet off and you forget, it will stretch down as you're pulling it off, and then once it goes over your chin, it'll snap and it'll just go straight up and hit you in the face. That's happened to me before. I think it happened in the first review, so definitely check that one out. But getting into the sound effects, we have both lights and sounds. While that one only had sound effects, we got some lights. So we're gonna get right into it, and I believe that this will be, because I flicked it that way, I believe it's the Battle of Hoth. And so we will see based on the sound effects, and also there's audio in it as well. So it kind of goes through. Like I said, we have both Yavin, so that is I was almost said the Force Awakens. Wow. A New Hope, the Battle of Yavin, and then of course Empire Strikes Back is the Battle of Hoth. So we'll kind of shoot through here. Yeah, so this is of course Empire Strikes Back. This is the Battle of Hoth. Got some sound effects. Very cool. It's got the AT-ATs. Got Luke. The other dude in the background also talks. He's in here somewhere. I forgot his name, but you know he's dead now, so I guess it don't really matter. There you go. I like the fact that they have the lights are very perfect to like the actual shots of the like pretty much everything. Like if there's an like you'll see that with the Yavin one, they have like all the there's that, so it matches perfectly. Like everything's really good. They have the exact sound effects for like the AT-AT, where technically it's like slightly off when it shoots. It's not like 100% at the exact same time. It's like just a little bit off. So I always thought that was cool. Yeah, and you kind of shoot through, and this one, unfortunately, I would say it's definitely the lesser of the two. If you had to choose, like, do you do the Battle of Yavin or the Battle of Hoth? Go Yavin, because unfortunately, this just doesn't have as much as far as there's not as much dialogue. Like Luke was, oddly enough, if you actually watch it, but it feels like Luke and his buddy are like the only two people flying in the whole battle. That's how I feel when I look back on it. I'm like, I feel like they're the only two people, and then that one ship that Luke tried to hail down that flew past, and I'm like, those are like the only two ships I feel I see that entire time. Everybody else was on their feet running and gunning, but it was just Luke and his buddy out there flying around, actually trying to take out AT-ATs. I feel like that's really about it. Like, there's not much to it. It's honestly like the actual dialogue of the battle. So that's really it. Like, this one just... oh, there it is. Like, because he didn't say that. One more pass is what he said. He also said the let her go, detached cable detached. So it's going to go through the AT-AT falling, which is really cool. And it sounds nice. It's definitely cool. But it's, even the light effects aren't as good, because it's going through the actual battle, and it's just not as entertaining as the Battle of Yavin stuff. So we're just going to switch to that, because I think that was all the dialogue we could get. I wish I could do this in an easier way, but this is actually the longest I've had this thing on my head where it hasn't fallen off, so I just want to keep it this way. So this is how we have to do it. So going to the Battle of Yavin, this junk is real intense. Now this one I love, because they have like a million things, because it's the end of the movie instead of the beginning of the movie, so it's like all the characters are there. They have all the dialogue, like Red 5 standing by, all the leaders and all the fighters, all these people, all the numbers and everything. And then there's a buttload of flashing lights, because it's just X-Wings and TIE fighters all over the place. I actually ended up skipping on it. So we got Red 3, Red 6, Red 2 standing by. So all this stuff, like there's way more sound effects as far as people talking and dialogues. You'll see way more lights, because there's just more stuff going on as far as there's more people flying around and actually shooting. So we got a buttload of X-Wings, we got a buttload of TIE fighters. It literally goes all the way to the end, up to Luke actually destroying the Death Star. Like they have all of that going up there. They even have Han going like, great shot, kid, 1 in a million. They have all of that stuff. So it's like the very beginning, obviously the battle is much longer, so once again, that's why it's more entertaining to do the Battle of Yavin sound effects. You'll get more audio, you'll get more lights, because they had a lot, the trench run, so Luke, Obi-Wan is talking right now, and then I think, so we got R2, and then it should be the final shot to the Death Star, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so that's Hansen, you're all clear. That was the blast to destroy the Death Star. The Death Star is destroyed. 1 in a million. So that always makes me think of the Family Guy thing where they're shooting earlier in the movie. Is like, great shot, kid. Don't get penisy. That was a great joke, because obviously it said don't get cocky in the actual film. Really funny. So way more lights, way more audio and stuff. And then as you go, like, it'll actually go through on its own. Like if you turn it on, it'll pretty much go through the entire thing, which I feel like this one lasts a very long time. And I think they both do last a decent chunk of time because they also they have a decent amount of like just random. It's the vehicle hum. I think is the best way to put it. They'll have like vehicle hum going through it, and then it'll start to do the dialogue. But you can kind of shoot through everything, and it'll just be like, okay, here's the next sound clip, or here's the next blaster fire, all that stuff. So you can kind of click through, and it'll kind of run through. But if you let it play out, it'll probably take you for this one maybe like 2 minutes or something. I feel like it's a really long time. I haven't timed it, so I'm sure someone else possibly has. But I feel like if you just let it play out, you'll have a lot of time in between where it'll just do the hum, and it'll do it for a super long time. I feel like they could have shortened that in half and just be like, okay, like it's maybe 10 seconds. I feel like it lasts longer than 10 seconds, but it'll just kind of go through and pretty much do what it did. So this whole time I've been talking, it's just kind of running through naturally, and it'll have the sound effects going through. So that I felt was much shorter. But, it'll just run through. It'll have the ships going past you. And then eventually it will end up looping. And so this is like the third time he said use the Force. So it's cool. I definitely enjoy this one a lot more because I feel there's more dialogue to it. And then, once again, here's Obi-Wan. Luke, trust your feelings and all that good stuff. I think that was a part of the trench run. I'm not sure. They have the Obi-Wan thing talking. He said that like 3 times now, but I haven't heard any other stuff happen. And I'm like, did he really say all of that? Because I feel like at some point Luke was like, I mean, it would be like one line or something where he's like, Obi-Wan, which he probably did. It's been a super long time since I've watched A New Hope. But I definitely enjoyed this half more than the Avon half. And of course, because just about nothing happened, there wouldn't be much dialogue to go through if they tried to do like a battle on Endor type thing. Like it wouldn't have anything, like there's not blasters going on, like it wouldn't even make sense. Plus technically he does have the same helmet on, so it also fits canonically, because otherwise they'd have to do the Endor Force Moon of Endor helmets, and I don't think we'll see those. That's probably why we haven't, because I think we're gonna take this off. And also if you hold it down and let it go, that should, so that cuts everything off. Oh my goodness. Worse head shape. It sucks. It sucks so bad. And I actually have the Mandalorian helmet coming in hopefully tomorrow. It's supposed to. So we'll see about that. But same thing. I watched like one review and the dude was talking about the head shape stuff, and I'm like, I hope it fits, because otherwise I'm screwed. I think that one's like a full on. I mean, if you've seen the Mandalorian, that's a full on helmet. This is like, it's a helmet, but you can kind of work around it. Same with the Poe Dameron. That's like your whole face and head is covered. If it doesn't fit, I don't know. I got a cool helmet, but that's gonna suck. I'd like to wear it, at least a little bit. But definitely enjoy both these helmets. But the Endor stuff, Force Moon of Endor, I should say. I don't think we'll see those helmets because the way they would have to do the tech, I don't think it could work and have like the style of the helmet as well as the technology, because they would have to find some spot to put the speakers. But the way that helmet is, it's almost like a bike helmet where it's literally like, it's cupped like right to their ears. So I don't see how they can make that, unfortunately. I would love it if somebody figured out that technology, and we did get that, because Return of the Jedi is my favorite in general, so I would love to have the helmet for that. I'll pick up a poncho and everything. I don't see myself getting a speeder bike, unfortunately. It's my favorite vehicle in all of Star Wars, but might be a little expensive to get like a speeder bike for me to sit on. So unfortunately, I don't think we'll see that helmet, just because it would be a lot harder to get the tech in with the actual design and have like both almost perfect. Like I would say these do a great job. I also don't know if this helmet is like the actual size, because it's so huge. But when I kind of think about it, I'm like, I do sort of feel like there was a lot of space for people's heads, and that's probably a big part of why they had the chin strap, because the helmets were actually this big. So I think that does play a part as to why this one's, huge, like just ridiculously huge compared to this one, which I think is much more streamlined and just like almost like a motorcycle helmet, where it's like it's fairly form fitting, and this big effing thing is too big for my normal head, and then with the cushions, it's just way too tight. So I have to somehow get cushions even smaller than these, which is insane. Like even these cushions are like a little bit too thick for my exact head size. So that's very annoying and dumb. And this is also annoying and dumb. I hate how I look in it. I hate how it feels wearing it, because to even do it where it's tight enough to where the helmet doesn't wobble around, because if I use that, then I probably don't have cushions in it at all. That's very uncomfortable. So that leads to just like me sitting there and I'm just like like that's just how I look because the thing's just like so tight under my chin, just so that the whole helmet will stay on. So it's uncomfortable like a bunch of different ways. So unfortunately, I don't see myself like ever utilizing this. I'll probably just stick with the uncomfortable cushions because I'd rather use that than have to deal with this. Plus, you'd have to adjust it and everything and make sure it's perfect and also even and make sure that like the tassels aren't a little too long because I was trying this yesterday and the tassels aren't like too long and they're kind of like touching your ear every time you move. So I don't think I'll ever be using this even if I decide to wear the helmet again. But all in all, I still enjoy the helmet. I also wish that the visor came up like this one does where it can go up and down. I still feel like a part of that is just the movie stuff, where it's like if they didn't show it in the movie, they don't do it in the thing because technically, this helmet is supposed to come all the way down. Like they don't actually ever show that in the movie though. But like if you're not wearing the helmet, you can like bring this whole thing down and it basically makes it like a full dome. But they don't actually do that in the movie, so I think that's why they don't make it work with this. And the same thing goes for that, where I'm like, I'm sure those visors would go up because that just makes sense. And I feel like they should have just added that. Like I would have preferred to have that versus the 100% realism of the visors never went up in the movie, so they don't go up in the toys. Like, who cares? Like, just put the visor up. It's better that way. Like, let me be able to see normal if I happen to wear this, as a cosplay. You might not want to have yellow vision 100% of the time, and you might not want to have to take the helmet off because it kind of helps with the immersion. Like, you don't have to hold your helmet just to be like, okay, let me look at this random thing and see exactly how it looks versus let me, take my helmet off or, you can immediately just tilt it up. But still, I don't know why they wouldn't just bother doing that. And I'm pretty sure Luke came out after Poe Dameron. Could be mistaken on that, so I would love it if you guys could let me know about that part. But I just thought that was weird. I wish they would just let the visor go up. It's not like visors don't go up in Star Wars. It's super weird. It's very odd. I know it's not like the blast shield one where, Luke was training and stuff, but I'm like, if the visor went up on that, I'm pretty sure you could just assume the visors go up on everything. It just seemed odd to me that they wouldn't put that in. Even if the Luke thing was the first one. And I feel like I'm saying verbatim what I said when I did my original review of the helmet. Even if that's just how it is, even if that's the very first one, you would think they still would have been like, maybe we should make it where the visor can go up so people can just kind of lift it up so that they can see with their own eyes instead of having the visor down in front of their face 100% of the time. And somehow it just slipped through. Like I said, I don't know either way if it's based on they just didn't think of it or that's just because we didn't see it in the movie technically, so they don't show it in, kind of helmet form. Either way, it's weird. And honestly, it's just like a simple bad decision. Like, to be told, it's a small decision. Of course, it's not like it makes or breaks buying this helmet. I still love the thing, the lights and the effects, the sounds. It's all great. Like in shelf presence alone, especially considering it's just the worst shape for my head size. It's a great little centerpiece that you can have. So I think it's worth picking up 100%. But that's like the one thing where I'm just like, it's so weird that they just didn't make the visor go up. I find that very odd. I wish these were better. I wish it was just a better head shape for me. But not everyone will have that problem. Like I said, I'm gonna have to find it's crazy to think that this is too thick. Like just this little bit on two sides, it just makes the helmet so tiny. Like as it gets closer to the top, it's just tight around my head, and it's so crazy. I'm just like, it's just weird. It's weird. It works fine. Like I said, as far as the Poe Dameron one, I can do it without it because it's so form fitting. It doesn't shake as much, but Luke's helmet, it's just too big. So that's like the one big gripe for me is like I got to figure out my own alternate solution because no cushions is too loose, and then both cushions is impossible to actually put on. So that's the unfortunate position I'm in. And like I said, this just feels uncomfortable too. So the three options that I have, I don't really like any of them personally. So I'll figure out a nice in between for myself once I do that. But we'll love to know your thoughts on this helmet and how you guys feel about the head shape and how does it affect you. I would love to know that because, like I said, for me, it's just the weird thing where I'm like, wow, I literally have to find like my own solution to kind of make it work because it's too loose, it's too tight, and this is uncomfortable just being strapped under my chin like just super tight like this. And then of course, if you make that mistake, I'm telling you, if you don't think about it, you're going to hit yourself in the nose. And I'm sure a lot of people did and just weren't thinking like, oh, okay, I'll just do this. And, like you pop off a helmet and then that thing stretches and it just right in the nose. It's unfortunate and uncomfortable. But all in all, it's still a great helmet. I'm very excited. Hopefully my Mandalorian helmet actually is in tomorrow. So that review will be up next weekend, even though this one's super duper late. Like by the time this actually uploads, it probably won't be until midnight. I just had such a busy weekend. But thanks for checking this out. If you guys have any comments, please put them down in the comment section below. Like I said, I would love to know your thoughts on the helmet. These are the only two that I have, and the Mandalorian one is the only one I plan on getting. I don't plan on getting any of the other Black Series helmets or anything like that, unless a new helmet comes out that I just think looks insanely sick or something like that. But I don't really see myself getting one, even if they end up doing one for oh god, I cannot think of her name. Leader of Thought. She was in freaking Clone Wars, and she's finally in live action, and I'm totally drawing a blank. But Katie Sackhoff's character, I know I can remember the actress's name, but I can't remember the character that I've known for like years in the Star Wars franchise, which is super funny to me. But Katie Sackhoff's character from both Clone Wars and The Mandalorian, if she had her helmet come out, I still don't think I'd buy hers. And I love the design of her helmet. The I think it's the Night Owls is their name. So I would love to see that, but I don't know if it would make me get it. I'm not 100%, but who knows? Like, if the Mandalorian thing works out and I feel comfortable with that, I might be okay getting like a full head helmet. So who knows? I might get a couple designs. We'll see what happens with this. But either way, for like the fourth or fifth time, who knows? Sometimes I have trouble ending my videos when it's just nerdy things like Star Wars. I just want to keep talking. It's so good. It's been so good lately. I mean, Bad Batch was it's been alright. The part 1 finale was great. I have a review of that if you want to check it out. Thanks for checking this video out. Like I said, I do want to know what you guys think about this helmet. All the helmets that you guys have, like, what would you say is like the greatest one? I know there was like the Star Wars one, or Darth Vader. I think Darth Vader. I'm like, that's just Luke and Darth Vader. Like, that is Star Wars to me. So Darth Vader. I know Boba Fett had his. I know they did one for, I think, like 3 different versions. I think there was classic Stormtrooper, sequel style Stormtrooper, and then the red ones whose names I totally can't remember, like what that specific, I want to say Imperial Stormtrooper, but that's probably not right, but the red Stormtrooper helmet as well. So I know they have a bunch out there, but these are the 2 that I really wanted. And then of course the Mandalorian, just Mandalorians were always my favorite thing in Star Wars. Like, once I got into like the shows, I was like, oh, Mandalorians are my favorite thing. Darth Maul is his own favorite thing. He introduced me to the double-sided lightsaber. He will never be forgotten, of course. But the Mandalorian stuff is always the coolest. So I had to get that helmet. That review will probably be up next weekend if they actually give me that freaking helmet. But thanks for checking this out. If you guys have any comments, please put it down in the comment section below.